Welcome to the Goodish Girls, guys. My name is Dallas.
And I'm Kass.
And we are covering Brimstone, as you know. This is our second to last episode. So in this episode, we are covering chapters 38 through 44. This is a spoiler series, so please make sure you have read not only Quicksilver, but please make sure you've read the bonus chapters. There's also previous episodes that we have posted that cover the bonus chapters for Quicksilver that you can reference. And then please make sure, obviously, you have read all of Brimstone. Let's get into it. What are you drinking today?
The classic. The basic.
Another Red Bull.
The basic. Always the sea blue Red Bull.
Yes, I toofed him yesterday.
I'll surprise you next episode, though. You're not gonna
Next
be
episode's our final episode.
I know you're not gonna be able to guess what I'm drinking, and you're probably gonna laugh at what I'm drinking.
Well, I wouldn't think it's something fun to drink.
It's a surprise.
Oh, man. All right, I'm ready. I am keeping it simple today with a beautiful cup of coffee.
That's fair. I needed more caffeine than a cup of coffee, so.
Yeah, I needed a cup of coffee for my soul so I could literally tell you everything about the Hazrax.
That's fair. That's fair.
Originally, the Quicksilver bonus chapters were my Roman Empire. Now the Hazrax is my Roman Empire. Let's get into it. Chapter 38. So, Scion of No One. Overall recap of the chapter. The Even Light Ball is well underway, with Even Light being the center of attention once again. Sylvina finally gets put in her place, which should have happened a really long time ago. Tal has an array of new ink on his chest that did not come from any mating bonds, and Ceres is about to puke and rally better than I ever did in my youth.
Disgusting.
Never once have I ever puked and rallied. Ever. It's literally, when I was here, it was like drink, be sick, go to bed. No matter where I was at.
Yeah, no. I've never puked
So,
and rallied.
good on her. She's goals.
Is she? Not in that sense, I don't think.
So,
I'm okay.
First thing, so Tal has new ink. Right, and I know we know why he has new ink. Like, that's, that's not a mystery. But it's really interesting because I did not guess this at all. This was something that I was like, oh, I can figure that out. Like, that's weird. Maybe he has like a mating bar. Maybe there's like a second god bond or like things like that. But I did not expect it to be what it was.
Me either.
And some other interesting, I'm going to call that like a notable item, right? Things that I don't have a theory for. I just like, this is interesting and I want to point it out, is that he has the biggest surname of like any character in the book, right? Taladeus Hilaire, once eldest son of the Hilaire household, keeper of secrets, and lord of midnight. Bro has a really long name, and none of it's real.
Like Fisher probably has an equally long name if we put in all his titles.
So, but would it still be Kingfisher dash? Right, Kaidan Graystar Vivara.
No. I would think it would be his real name, and then in parentheses, like how people have nicknames.
Oh yes.
Parentheses.
Okay, so it'd be
Kingfisher.
Kaidan Graystar Vivara, parentheses,
Kingfisher.
Whatever, of the Adjun Gate.
And
Lord of Kalish. Okay, yeah, alright, so we put it all together, his name is also quite long.
His is pretty long.
That's fair. So, another notable thing that I was like, alright, bro, you could have done better. I mean, I love Kingfisher, you can do no wrong, but like, also, he knew of the disembowelment. And he didn't tell her what it meant. And I know he was like, I found out last minute. But like, if you had time to speak into her mind to be like, it will be over quickly. You could be like, you're about to throw up everything. Hang on.
Yeah.
Like, something.
I wanted to know why him and Tal both were like, it's best if she go in blind to this. Let's not tell her any information besides that. I'm going to say some fancy words at a fancy ball. And then you won't be part of me.
Spectacle. Yeah, many opportunities for these men, to be honest, and they chose to not tell her. So rude. Yeah, he's like, I braced for the clap of Tal's hands, knowing what would come with it. Bro.
Yeah, her spewing out all the blood. And then he's like, you didn't drink that much blood, so.
Yeah, how about,
what the fuck do you mean?
You're gonna be sick, and then you'll be fine. Sane. And then we go through all the lords, like, who are basically auditioning to be a Lord of Midnight, and none of them make it. I do want to talk about them, though, just a little bit, mostly in case they come up in book 3. I want us to, like, have a concept of who they are. I don't know if they will, right, because technically the Blood Core is null and void, but we have Cavan Dalish, who would like to be the Keeper of Warfare, and he used to be a soldier for Kingfisher. We have Ibanwe, keeper. She wants to be Keeper of Pain. This lady's fucking wild. She says
she has lots of lore. I wasn't expecting.
She has so much lore. I was like, oh my god. So she's like, the engineering and construction of siege machines, sewer systems, and all the infrastructure and planning required when the cogs were built. He, Malcolm, was particularly pleased with the weapons of war I created on his behalf, weapons of iron designed to inflict unimaginable pain upon the vile Fey scum who beset our home and attempt to divert us from our glorious purpose. Shit was nuts.
Her queen
I kind of like her.
Is literally half Fey too, and she's like, ugh, that vile Fey scum.
Yeah, she is like.
Meanwhile, Sarys is like, bitch, hello.
Hello, say that to this ear, this very pointed ear, while you tell me once more what you did.
Yeah.
So one other thing that was noteworthy was that in the book it says that she had runes, right? So it says they were dead runes, though long inactive, barren of magic, and turned ash gray by time. It was a shield. Once upon a time, this female had been an alchemist. Why would they put that in the book if it wasn't important?
Why do I not remember reading this?
Because it wasn't a vibe.
I remember this lady being fucking wild, but I don't remember them being like, she's an alchemist.
It was very sudden. It was like, I love pain and torture and all this chaos, and then...
By the way,
also
she's an alchemist.
Yeah. And then it, like, moves on. Which happens quite a few times in this book. Like, previously, right, when they were like, Archer knows everything about Kingfisher's dad. Also, he has 3 fingers and a thumb. Like, I think Callie did this a lot to us in this book, where she was like, look over here!
Yeah,
an important piece of information. So that's just...
My question
that's why I'm here. I'm watching.
Did these 2 die in the fiasco that's about to arise?
We don't know. We have no idea. It does not say.
And if they are alive, then obviously they've returned to their original form.
Right. As a warrior and as an alchemist? Question mark? I don't know. That could be... I like that as a theory, though, right? Like, she comes back as an alchemist. Maybe that's... I mean, if she still feels as she did before, right? With torture and honoring Malcolm and all these things, is she going to come back as an alchemist with really bad intentions? And is Sarys going to have to, like, fight another alchemist with her shields as well? That would be cool. Theory for book 3, Sarys fights other alchemists.
Good theory.
I'm here for it.
Hopefully they would fight with her, not against her, but you know.
Hopefully.
This lady's kind of fucking crazy, so.
She's a little wild, yeah. And then one other side note that literally doesn't mean anything. I don't know how I feel when Kingfisher says that he's fucking hot under the collar.
Yeah, I don't know what you meant by that.
He was like looking at Sarys and he's like, Bella, when she does this thing, like, man, I get fucking hot under the collar.
I've got to look this up.
Yeah, look it up. Hot under the collar. And I was like, what? That's funny. I don't know how I feel about it.
Angry, annoyed, or flustered about something, often showing visible signs of flushed face with heightened emotion.
Like, it's a real saying. I just didn't...
I believe you. I've just never, ever heard it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's funny. And things, again, that I just want noted for the record is that we finally learned Foley's name. Foley Briarstone.
But he has no surname. Yeah.
That we know of.
Is he like Danya, where he's going to get his next book?
I don't know. And I also don't know if Danya's going to get hers.
Yeah, I say that confidently, like, the next book it will happen.
You're like, yeah, that's your theory, and I love it. And we will see if it happens.
We'll see.
I don't know if she's going to. I think that'd be a really cool thing, though.
I think so.
So it's very interesting. And that is the end of that chapter. So that's chapter 38. Nice and quick and easy.
Yep. This next chapter gets pretty crazy. Chapter 39, Keeper of Secrets. We get another entry from Medina. Alget tries to break the rules like the witch bitch that she is. And well, if it isn't a mass murder. This chapter is wild.
Oh, it's so wild. So, first question, is there anything Adina does not know? And also, why does she consistently write in riddles?
I feel like we've had this conversation before of what she knows, what she saw, what she didn't see. But I feel like she knows a lot. She may know equally as much as the Hazraks.
Yes, I think close. There's only one thing I think the Hazrax does. Two things that he did not know.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew the relic was going to burn him.
Well, he's not an oracle, though. So how does he know all that without being an oracle?
I think he's whatever is above an oracle, because, and we'll get into it too, because I have lots.
Yeah,
of
we've
Hazrax
talked
lore.
a lot about like.
I have so much Hazrax lore. So I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna put it in because I want to come back to it with all my notes. So with Adina, she says in the book, she says, consider a sixth. Only the golden tooth wolf can be trusted. And then it says entry from the Journal of Adina of the Seven Spires. I mean, I like it, but I'm also like, just say fully.
I don't. But what if she
speaks
put
so
that
fancy.
and somebody else had it? What if somebody else took it and then they were like...
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I guess that's possible. Like somewhat of a code.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just so many like little pieces here and there that we're just getting, like, we're getting crumbs.
Yeah.
Of information. So in this chapter, this was the moment that I said I didn't like Algit anymore, and I was really mad about it because I liked her. I was like, Algit is a bitch and I love her. And it says she is avoiding her boots, and I was like, we're done.
You're like, you
String
kick
her
the
up.
shadow cat, you're done.
Absolutely not. Do not touch Guru. Absolutely not. Kick a person. I don't care. Kick Foley. Kick Kate Fisher. Kick Saris. I don't care. That's fine. You can kick anybody. You're a grumpy old lady, not your cat.
That's...
Made me so mad. I was like, nope, I'm done. And then it was interesting because she was told that she's not allowed to enter Saris's mind, but she tries again, right? And this is how wild this magic system is to me. She says, Saris says, I felt it then. The bullying push at the wall that shielded my mind. It was Algit scrambling to get in. Even though I had forbidden her from rifling around inside my head, despite the command, she was still trying, and my fury rose like a wave of vengeance summoned by the gods themselves. I imagined knives, scores of them, hovering in the air, point tipped first at the wall. I lowered the wall only long enough to send the blades hurtling forward and then brought it up as quickly as I could. My question, and obviously that's so cool. I'm 100% here for this type of torture. What is supposed to happen when someone goes against the oath? Because if you remember in Quicksilver, like or when Tal goes against Malcolm's oath, or even when Kingfisher did, right? Or like the bond or the bargain that they had, there was physical consequences immediately.
That's
Do you
true.
remember that? So why, when Algit was technically breaking this command from Saris. I mean, I know she didn't physically get into the mine, but she was trying. So why did she not have immediate physical consequences?
That's a good question.
I don't have an answer. I just literally have that question.
I don't know. My question is, going off of your question, could she have actually gotten in had Saris not defended herself?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is like, if she would have gotten in, if she's under the command of Saris, what would have happened to her? Would anything happen to her? And does that prove that she was truly under Saris's command?
I don't know.
Because we know that there are some people in the court who are not.
It's a little suspicious.
It is a little suspicious. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But also, maybe I'm not.
Well, if you put it into perspective, like, let's say she's not in her mind mentally, right? None of them are able to attack or hurt her, right? Or try to kill her. So this is essentially the equivalent of her, like, running at her down the hallway to try to go after her.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel like if that were to happen in the book, as soon as they would start and have that thought of, like, I'm going to get her, it would happen.
Because you compare it.
Well, and Zovina, using her as a footstool.
Right. So, like, Zovina cannot move. Zovina, like, has to listen. She was like, stop talking. And Zovina couldn't help but stop talking.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. How was Algit even able to attempt to push at Saris's mind at all? It seems a little sus.
She's a witch.
She's a witch.
I don't
Burn the witch. I can show you big booty Latinas. Release the witch. Don't say what like you haven't seen it. Really?
What are you talking about?
Oh my god. No, there's a TikTok. So there's a TikTok and it goes, burn the witch. And then someone goes, I know a spell to summon big booty Latinas. And then they go, release the witch.
I've not seen that TikTok.
I can't believe you've seen it.
I've not seen that TikTok.
I'm gonna send it to you, and then because like Book Talk took it over, right? And they were like, "Burn the witch," and then it would be like, "I can summon," but then it would be like, "I can bring Kingfisher right to your bedroom," and they're like, "Release the witch."
I see.
Yes.
Yeah, nope, haven't seen that.
That's
Most
so
of my
funny. I'm gonna
TikTok
send it
is
to you.
mom talk, so
Fair.
not like the mom talk, but like
Oh yeah, not
no,
okay,
not
it's
the
not
Mormons,
dirty sodas and ketamine. Got
not
it.
the Mormons.
Not them. Yeah, okay. So, I am literally gathering every scrap of information I can about this Hazrax, okay, in these next 2 episodes. So, through this, I'm just going to lay down Hazrax lore for you guys. And then I have so many theories. So,
Great.
Some Hazrax lore to start out with is the Hazrax is not a member of this court. It has not sworn fealties to Xanathroth or a single vampire here, yet it has been a Lord of Midnight for many centuries. This is something that we know, right? So it has been around for a really, really, really long time, and it has gotten away with not actually swearing fealty, which is a big part of why Foley was able to do that. So, again, little Hazrax checklist there. I want to shift it to the Even Light, which we know that we are going on and on and on about. Because it's all over the book. I don't know, like, it's literally in it so many times. And it is noted as the spirit of the gods, right? Which, again, we know. And it says, they are with us. And then as it's saying, like, they are here, they are with us, like, the gods specifically are with them, right? Foley even was, like, muttering that. And then he pressed his index finger and his middle finger to his forehead between his brows. And it said, many of the high bloods mirrored the motion. So even though, like, many of the high bloods and Foley were basically essentially like praying to them, right? To the Even Light, to the spirit of the gods, whatever it truly is. We don't actually really get a description of what it is. It was surprising because even though they're all in a different place in life, they still all came together in that moment and bowed their heads in reverence. And then wind was like ripping through the hall, and it says the pale green light tore overhead in a shimmering pennant that filled the night sky from horizon to horizon. So essentially like the Northern Lights is kind of what I imagined it as. And then this was the really interesting part. It says the even light in the torches throughout the hall flared, brightening anew. The fires burning in the grates strengthened, roaring violently up the backs of multiple hearths. It was as if all throughout the Black Palace, the sources of even light that already existed were being powered up by the arrival of this shifting green banner in the night sky. What the fuck is even light? What is it? I understand that, like, they're telling us what it is, but, like, what is it, right? Who is actually flying through the sky? Why is it charging up the current even light that's there? And why is it in Zilvarin?
Is even light a gas? Because sometimes she talks about it like it's, like you said, the Northern Lights, but then at the same time they're using it like a gas to make lanterns.
Yeah, well, and it doesn't put off heat. It's just a light. And we know this because...
Oh, because it was in the hearth. Got it.
And
like
Foley's like, I miss the heat.
Right, yes. Like a fire, but it's not. What the
Correct.
heck?
Yeah. So I don't know. Gas, maybe? I don't know. That's a great question. Okay. So now I have been stewing on this for weeks.
You want to give a backstory before you get into it?
Okay. In our interview with Callie Hart about Quicksilver and Brimstone and all the things prior to its release, I had investigated the playlists that she created that are public, that she has. And I was like, what do we do with these songs? What is happening with these songs? Like, what's going on with these playlists? And so she kind of, like, told us kind of the what's and wheres of it. If you want the details of that, you can go check out the interview. But I said, is there a song that you would pick for Ceres and Kingfisher? Like, specifically. And she did give us a song, and it's called Affair with the Moon by Lydia Solomon, right? And I was like, oh, it would be cool if they, like, were able to dance together, right? Because she's like, I imagine Ceres and Fisher dancing like a contemporary dance, like a ballet almost, like, and they would never do that, like, they would never have a peaceful moment kind of thing. And I was like, maybe one day, like, they could, right? Like, you could put that in there. And she was like, these guys have to go through a lot of things before they can worry about that. Like, they have a lot. I'm sorry. What contemporary dance am I not thinking of? Because in the book, when they dance, Fisher lifts Saris in the air and does a 180 spin. How is that not contemporary?
But it is contemporary. Fun fact, I took a dance class in college. It was contemporary dance.
Okay, so here's my
Never
question.
taken a dance class since I was 5, but I took contemporary. And let me tell you, we spent a whole month on partner work. And that does happen in contemporary dance.
So when you guys, if you're rereading it or re-listening to it, or if you want to read this specific part and listen to Affair with the Moon by Lydia Solomon, it might give you a vibe. 2 questions. 1, did I inspire Callie Hart to write a dance scene?
Like, it was me. She wrote this for me.
And then when we logged off, she was like, actually, I think they might dance. B, is she so good at gaslighting me?
She might just be good at gaslighting you.
I think she's a really good liar.
Probably.
I'm worried if we ever talk to her again that I'm going to accidentally call her out too hard and be like, you lied to me. I need to, like, chill.
I think you should just come with receipts and be like, I have some questions for you.
Yeah,
and
I'm actually going to play you this quote that you had.
Calmly read the list down and then just be like, any comments?
Yeah, anything to say for yourself. But, like, did she get off the call and was like, that girl doesn't know anything?
Probably. Have you seen her do PR, like, with this book coming out? Like,
she's very honest about it.
Well, when they've done interviews, though, and people, like, ask questions, she'll just be like, Like, she's very, like, cool and collected all the time.
So collected.
Nothing bothers her.
I'm gonna go in like a real
She's
reporter.
A secret keeper.
Yes, she is. I was like...
She is Talladega.
They were dancing, and I was, like, reading this scene, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, yelling out loud. Out of all the scenes in the book, this was the one where I was like, oh my god. She lied.
It's happening.
She lied to me. Somebody turn on Affair with the Moon. Quick.
Oh my god.
I can't. It kills me. There's a moment also that I want to talk to Anthony about, because in our interview with Anthony, I had noted that in Quicksilver it was like, and then Fisher laughed like the greatest laugh I've ever heard. And I had asked him, I said, like, that would have been so cool if you would have laughed and, like, shown us as listeners of the book, like, what that sounded like. And if you've done the Audible version of Brimstone, he does laugh.
He laughs, yeah.
And I immediately was like, did I do that?
Dallas actually thinks she wrote the book.
I live in Fantasyland 24/7, guys. But I want to ask him and be like, I'm really glad that you did that, buddy. What inspired you?
He's like, actually, in my contract, it said I had to laugh in this book. You're like,
I know, I hope that's his answer, because it will make it 10 times better. And we'll never tell him about this moment.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't listen to the podcast.
I do not think that Anthony Palmini listens to our podcast. If he did, R.I.P. Dallas all over again. And he will know what that means.
Oh my goodness.
What a while. He's actually the top 30 people that listened. He's one of them in our Spotify rap.
He's our number one.
Our number one fan. Yes. If you just dream it, it can happen.
Okay, Walt
So
Disney.
silly. Yes. See, that man was very successful. That is a good motto. I'm gonna point with 2 fingers. Is that because the myth that, or the story that he was actually smoking cigarettes and that's why he did it? Honestly, we should have kept that. That's hilarious.
Oh, Walt never points with one finger. Yeah, because he had a cigarette in his hand 24/7.
That's hilarious.
I don't know if that's true or not. None of us know if it's true. It's like
a
piece of lore that all of us are like, could be.
You'll never catch me wave with my hands at Disney. I will only wave as if I'm holding a cigarette in my hand, like Walt Disney.
So are all the cast members.
I love it. I'm here for it. Another funny side note, and this is just hilarious for me, and maybe you as well. I don't know. So when Kingfisher and Saris are, like, hanging out, right? He's, like, walking around. They're going to look at a painting of flowers, right? That turns out, obviously, to be, like, wolf or widow's bane, things like that. Mm-hmm. I feel like we all read past this, and I took a double take. It says, I looked up at the hanging, squinting at the Bacchachalania. I looked up at the hanging, squinting at the Bacchachalania. It depicted, what's the male doing to that goat? Asked. And Fisher says, ignore the goat. Look here.
Have you ever seen Black Mirror?
A couple episodes. Not very many.
Nope,
I don't want to talk about that one. Mm-mm. I know what you're talking about. Absolutely not.
That's
Moving
right.
On.
That's right where my brain went, where I was like, What the fuck do
No.
you mean is happening to the goat? That's where I was like,
That kind of painting would probably be up in the Black Palace, just on the wall. I don't know. Wild. So yeah, nobody knows what's happening to this poor goat, whether he's alive or not in this painting. Like, unsure. I just thought it was really interesting. So again, we then learn about Widow's Bane and how it can be turned into a usable medicine. There was quite a bit of paragraph in this, but I thought it was interesting, but I don't know if it was relevant.
Yeah, that's my question. Because I feel like we spent quite a bit of time on it. And for me, I usually don't pay attention to detail, right? I'm not that person. Tell me why I retained every information about, like, every piece of information she gave about Widow's Bane. But is this going to be important later with Carrion and his magic of growing plants? Is it going to be linked? Are they going to mass grow it the next book in some way or something to either help and heal or to do the opposite?
Right. Well, and Carrion's magic is more than just like growing plants, because even when he does show Ceres, like later on in the book, he's like, this plant isn't even supposed to have flowers. Look at it, having flowers. So he might be able to turn that Widow's Bane into something not expected.
Right.
I love that theory. Yes, Carrion and Widow's Bane. Theories for book 3.
Yeah.
Yes. Question for you. What were your thoughts on Tal turning on the entire fucking Blood Court?
I'm so glad you asked.
Because you loved him.
I'm so glad you asked. So, one, I was shocked. Did not in any way see this coming whatsoever. Okay? I thought in my head, he wants to make this grand, spectacular thing, right, of the disembowelment so that the court is just like, okay, whatever. And that's how things always were in the Blood Court. That's not even part of it. That's not even what the fuck he's talking about, right? He's talking about what's about to happen with everybody essentially drinking vials at the same time to die. And at the end of it, he raises his own glass and is like, cheers, and throws it back. Why did he try to leave us?
He had to.
Well, we know that he had to, but we also find out that he didn't know that. So what if he would have changed his mind? In the next few chapters, they talk about, yes, he knew certain things, but he didn't know the full spectacle of what Ishabal did. So what if he would have changed his mind? What would have happened? But 2, this is a death that was saved that I am behind, okay? There are multiple deaths that happen in this book that get taken back, right? This is one that I'm like, yeah, this should not have happened. What the actual fuck? How dare he? Okay, how fucking dare Ishabal? And he cannot leave at all. We need him. I don't think book 3 would do well if we didn't have him.
I think he should have died.
No, bitch. I don't think so. No.
We're deafening people now.
No.
I think he would have had a really...
I think Archer should have died and Onyx should have died. We don't need them.
You don't mean that.
We need Tal. Tal is important. Tal knows a lot. Tal has powers. Why did he take out the stuff of Ishabal for a minute, okay? And let's just say that wasn't happening.
Okay.
Why would he decide to kill himself too?
I think he felt really guilty for everything he was forced to do by Malcolm. Right? Like, I think he lived with it for so long and watched a lot of these high bloods just, like, lavish in this awful life. And I think he was done. And I think he was like, I'm going to do one last good thing for Yavelia, right? The people, and make his mom proud, because it does bring up, like, they bring up his mom eventually in the story, just for, like, a quick second, right? You know, help Kingfisher, help Ceres, and then pay for his sins, his crimes, right? And go on his way. Like, every high blood had the choice, including him, and he didn't want that choice. And I think they took that away from him. And they did. Like, he's fine, but I think that, again, he really thought that through. He made his choice, and they're like, that's not up to you. Like, you don't get to make that choice. He does get to make that choice. That was his choice.
Yeah,
he wanted to sacrifice himself. And that's why I think he should have died. I
think in the next chapter, I actually wrote a comment on that, because you brought that up again, which we can either talk about now, or we can talk about it then. I'm divided because I love Tal. Tal is one of
I also like Tal.
Tal is one of my all-time favorite boys in this book, right? Like, I love him. He is important. He can help them in so many different ways. But at the same time, like you said, I was kind of like, oh no, he wanted to die. And you guys are taking that away from him.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, then you have Foley there screaming, trying to help him, being like, you can't do that. You will, it'll be fine. Everybody will forgive you. You've already made up for it in life. Like, yelling at him that he is worth all and everything.
But he's a hypocrite. If Foley could have had the option, he would have taken it. There is no way.
That is true. Because he doesn't want to be a vampire. That is
correct.
True. Yeah, I didn't
Foley
think about that.
Would have absolutely jumped on that fucking opportunity. And how many times did people tell him that he was going to be fine? He would have been welcome back with or without the letters. Like, letters aside, I know he didn't get them, but like even when Lorith is like, bro, he doesn't believe them, right?
You're so right. You are so right.
I think Foley was less worried about losing Tal and more worried about himself and how he would feel if Tal was gone.
I can see that. I was just shocked. Foley plays a part in this next scene, right? Of like I didn't expect him to be the one carrying Tal or like begging Tal to live or like yelling at him for doing this. Saris, yes. Kingfisher, even.
Not Foley.
Not Foley.
I think Tal has been the only connection back to like the Fae side that Foley has had for a really long time. And that's why, again, I think he was not necessarily so worried about, like, losing Tal specifically. Yeah. I think he was more worried about himself.
Right.
Because that's been his connection. In my opinion.
See that. No, I can see that.
And again, I think it would have been a really, from a story standpoint, not whether I like or dislike said character, from a story standpoint, I think that death would have been an honorable death.
I can see that. I think I'm comparing it to the rest of the deaths that could have happened.
I think Onyx's would have been too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Archer's would not have been an honorable death. It would have been a shitty death. It was unexpected, and it wasn't a sacrifice.
No. But I think either one of those could have died and stayed, and it would have been fine. Whereas I feel like Tal is so important.
Well, not that he has a god sword.
What do you mean?
In the story. It's in a couple chapters. Saris makes him a god sword.
No, I mean, but why wouldn't he be important without the god sword?
No, I'm saying I think he's going to be more important now that he has gone to book 3.
I see. I was like...
Now that he survives and is given a god sword, he now is of importance to maybe the ending of this story. If that makes sense.
I think he is important and could have helped them in general. I think the other 2 deaths that could have happened in this book would not make a big dent on changing the outcome of the end of the story.
Part of me says yes. I think Archer's probably, but also Archer holds a lot of information that we don't know about Kingfisher's parents. So I think we have the opportunity maybe now in book 3 to get that information from him. And then with Onyx, I don't know where his character is going. Right? Because I feel like we still don't know who Adina was talking to in the Forge. I think there's something different about Onyx. I still am on that train. I will die on that train. Like, I think in book 3, we will learn more about him. That maybe we'll be like, oh, I'm really glad that they didn't kill this character. Or I could be wrong. But
I'm worried that she's going to kill half the book. She's going to kill half the characters in the next book.
The end. That's how it ends. Everybody dies.
The world ends. Nobody saves anything. It's like with
Unlost. Everybody actually died in the very beginning.
What's Unlost? Is that a
show
book?
Lost?
Oh, I thought you said
Unlost.
Unlost, and I was like, what book is that? Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
Like on the show Lost. Everyone died.
I can't believe you brought that up. I haven't thought about that show in a very long time.
I agree with that show like once a month, and I'm like, how dare you? Why would you do that to me? I wasted so many seasons.
I think I trauma blocked it. That show fucked me up.
That is fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So, either way, I'm glad we got this fight. I was a little worried for us. It's rare to see Cash, go unhinged.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm glad we were able to talk about this. All right, chapter 40. Here we go. Judgment. All of the vampires drank Okay, amazing. Anyways, all of the vampires drank the blood Kool-Aid, and now they are all dying together unwillingly by the modern-day Jim Jones, and Sanisroth is definitely Jonestown. Sylvina is now the biggest baby to ever exist, and we do not feel sorry for her.
I hate that bitch.
I have thoughts. I have a crack theory that I don't think is true, but it's wild. We'll get into it.
Okay.
So, it was interesting that Fisher knew what was happening, right? That it was a spell and not just magic. Like, when everything was going down, everybody's either dying or drinking the vials or what's happening. He was like, it's a spell. It's not just magic. How do you know that? Like, I know he knows a lot of things, but like, how did you know? How do we tell the difference between magic and a spell? What signs are we looking for? Is there something that like we as readers can tell if we read, or is it just like a literally you have to be in the know to know?
This is before they discuss things with Ishabal, right? This is when they're bringing him
correct.
back.
Everyone is still dying in chaos.
So that's kind of confusing because he doesn't realize till they're back discussing things with Ishabal that the tattoos on his chest are spell work.
Correct.
So how does at this point he's like, it's a spell.
That's what I'm saying.
But doesn't connect to anything else that he finds out in like 10 pages.
What about it makes it a spell? Like, how did we know that it was a spell?
Well, does it have to do with because it was in a drink and everybody's taking it?
I don't know. I do. Yeah, as I'm saying, I have a lot of questions about like what makes it a spell versus just magic, and how do we tell the signs?
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Also, no one can find Alkit now. And like, scale of 1 to 10, how worried are we?
Oh, I'm fucking.
I'm like a 9.
I'm worried.
Can someone please find her?
Is pretty
Guru
worried.
Okay? Where's Guru?
She can rifle through anybody's mind.
Yeah.
At free will. She can attack Ceres at free will. I think I wrote in the notes, she's bad lady. I'm fucking worried.
Lady.
She's bad lady.
She has me real worried, yeah. And they say they're like, we can't find her, right? Which means that she probably drank from a vial. And it does say probably, so, like, it's not 100%, but, like, I'm leaning towards the fact that she probably drank from the vial, right? And that she isn't a high blood anymore. And Fisher says, and trust me, if you thought she was bad as a vampire, you definitely don't want to run into her as a witch. And we know that she is a bad witch because she's not from the Balquitter clan.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Do we can reach of the east? Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess. The Wicked Witch of the East, bro.
East, bro. Come down in a bubble, dog. Gosh.
So she is not from the Balquitter clan. She's from a different clan. And she was, like, basically dishonored from her clan because she was using bad magic. So she'd be rifling through some shit. Which is how I think she got Guru.
She got dark magic.
She does have dark magic.
Maybe
so, yes,
she's a demon god.
Fuck, man. She could be anything. So, yes, Algit is missing. MIA. And then it's like, in this book, it's the little things that kill me. Especially with a reread, where you read over it again. And there's Quicksilver chickens. It was like talking about, it was like the armory was deserted, save for a handful of chickens, which scattered, squawking in surprise when we emerged from the Quicksilver. Can you imagine? What happens if the chicken goes in the Quicksilver?
They die. That's what happens.
Do they? Do Bal and Mythen grab them? And they're like, our
maybe.
Pets. Like, where do these chickens end up? Why put that in there? It's just funny. It just made me laugh.
I didn't even catch that part.
Right? I didn't catch it till my reread. And I was like,
the more we get through this book in this podcast, sometimes I wonder if maybe I'm listening to my books at too high of speed.
Yes, you listen to them at 2.00 speed, and it sounds like people are screaming at me.
And you're like, yes, it was there. I'm like, was it? Are you sure?
Yes, girl. Turn it down. Every time I log onto our Audible in a book that we're both listening to, everyone starts yelling at me. I'm like, what's happening? I start panicking because I'm like, I don't know why everybody is screaming so fast.
I'll never get through the books.
I listened to it at 1.2.
You listen to your books so slow.
0.2 is the average speed.
When I turn it down to that, it sounds like they're talking like through molasses, like so slow. And I'm like,
I went if you do like 1.5. Like,
I'm
you
never
gotta
gonna finish this book.
Lower yourself down, like wean yourself off of the high speed.
If I don't listen to it on that high speed, I'm never gonna finish the book. You think I'm joking, but...
No, I think you're serious. You just make me laugh. Can we make a sticker when we eventually have merch one day that is chicken over a pool of Quicksilver? Quicksilver chickens.
Sounds
I want
great.
them in a little arbor.
They have a silver eye.
Yes, a silver ring! She put it in there. She wanted us to laugh at it, so I'm going to. So, a couple things that happened in this, like, book. Once the craziness is over and they go back, right? There are some Hayden red flags for me. And we've talked about Hayden red flags. Right, yes. Lazy, annoying, selfish, yeah, right? But I'm talking about, like, real red flags. And we talked about this in previous episodes where we're like, how did he know that that's where the door was? How did he see through the shadows? Like, how did he do these weird... Fisher calls it out. And Fisher in Zilvarin did not pay attention to fucking anything there. But he noticed that stuff, right? So here are some more other red flags for Hayden that I have. And this could be with what's the word I'm looking for? Where, like, the, not typos, inconsistencies in the book, which are supposedly intentional.
We can discuss that later, yes.
Yeah, I have they're intentional, list. So I'm going to go with the fact that they're intentional. Okay. That's what I'm going to go with. I trust Callie. I'm just going to go with it, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Whatever. Mm-hmm. So it says, he's upstairs, like he as in Carrion. Mm-hmm. Hayden's talking, and it says, he's upstairs. He sent me down here to fetch something for him. I heard a noise at the door. I thought someone was trying to break in. Okay, so Carrion's upstairs. He sent Hayden downstairs to fetch something for him. Okay, mm-hmm. But then it says, someone's like, where's Talina? And he said, and they're like, have you seen her? And he goes, I think she's still in the dining room. We just got done with dinner. I was on my way to bed. Were you on your way to bed? Or were you going downstairs to fetch something for Carrion? Again, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but he seems to be going in two different directions. Mm. And I have a weird feeling about him. I don't know what it is. I mean, I have some receipts, but, like, something about it just doesn't add up. Mm-hmm. He seemed to survive just fine without Cerys, right? Like, which we knew he could. He's a grown-ass man.
That's true.
But, like, did he just survive without Cerys? Or did something else happen? Is something else going on? Why could he see through the shadows? How did he know that door was going to be there? Why is he going in two separate places at the same time? Was he actually headed to bed?
Why does he believe everything Madra said?
Mm-hmm. Immediately believes it. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's... Yes. I don't like it. I don't know. It gives me the ick.
Well, you know me. I am the leader of the Hayden Hate Club. And I'm going to make stickers. I'm going to make shirts. I would like y'all to join me.
Vote for Kass for president of the Hayden Hate Club.
Hate him.
I really hope he's like a villain. I want him to be a villain in book 3 so bad.
I don't see a redemption arc that would make me like him.
I don't know. I don't know if I have one. I don't know if I see it.
Becoming a Nesta for me, where I'm like, anything you do, not enough.
He becoming a Kale for me.
Kale.
More than Nesta. I have big feelings on Nesta, but he's more of a Kale to me.
That's fair.
But also, he hasn't done anything. Like, Kale at least did some stuff, right? Like, he hasn't done anything yet.
It's true.
So maybe I will leave it open for interpretation in book 3. Either way. Also, another question for you in this. Did we see any of this shit coming from Ishabal?
No, I didn't. I trusted her from the beginning. And anytime Lorth would go after her, I'd be like, bro, chill down.
Yeah, I'm like, why do you hate her so much, bro? Relax.
But
she's fine.
We were fucking wrong.
So, with Ishabal, there's a couple of things that I feel like are noteworthy. So, it says, in the book, it says, your blood is a curse to all vampires. It kills them unless they take the antidote that your clan created. And I thought this was interesting that we know this information, because if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, because I'm pulling this just out of my brain, the Dianthus, like, rulers, right, like Ruruk Dianthus, their blood ended up being like a cure for the vampires, things like that. Mm-hmm. But the witches are a curse. Like, their blood is a curse to it. So, like, did they they were working together? Am I remembering that wrong? I might be remembering that wrong.
Well,
in Quicksilver, not in Brimstone.
Right. Malcolm bites Carrion, not knowing he is the Dianthus heir.
And it should have, like, been a cure, right? Because it was, like, the Dianthus heir, like, worked to make, like, a cure for people who wanted to not be a vampire anymore. So I found it really interesting that Ishabal's blood was a curse to all vampires. And then another thing that I thought was interesting, it says this strong enough. I couldn't risk the high blood sensing the magic on them or seeing large marks. I needed a much bigger conduit to channel the spell. One that would then redirect the energy to the thralls and complete the spell, which, again, is why we know that's why Tal's chest was covered in tattoos. Mm-hmm. It was a witch mark. And this is the first time we're hearing of a witch mark.
Okay, hang on. I'm looking this up.
Okay.
Because it's going to bother me. Funny enough, I opened right to the page that it happens.
Ooh, I love
where
that.
He bites him. But it doesn't tell us right then in that moment, his skin was melting from his bones, sloughing away, and wet fiber slabs from his cheek to his neck. Okay, I can't find it. I thought their blood was like a curse, like Dianthus. I thought it killed them.
I thought it was meant to be like a cure.
But it seems like it just kills him. Like he melts, his eyes fall out of his socket, like...
Yeah.
Is it like a cure in a way of like they're dying, so they're not a vampire no more?
Malcolm being dead for real is also really weird too, because the Triumvirate says it's always a 3 to kill one, you have to kill them all. And if Belican can literally get his head chopped off and then be fine, tells me Malcolm's not dead.
That makes me think, that's what I'm saying, like, I don't think Dianthus blood is a cure, unless they're saying like in a cure where it cures the world of vampires.
Right. Yeah, that's possible. A couple of key points that were interesting when it came to like Ishabal and the curse and the blood and the spell and all that kind of stuff that stood out to me. There's a couple of different things. The tattoos that ended up being on Tal's chest were considered a witch mark. So this is the first time we've heard of a witch mark. And we don't really get a ton more information other than it's like a tapestry woven together of sigils and things like that. And it's woven really tight. So technically it would have taken a lot of witches a long time to untangle it together with their powers. And it says, this was one of the most interesting parts. It said the mark on his chest, it's borrowed magic, dark magic. It lends power to the one who binds it, but left unchecked, steals power, eventually will open a gateway that cannot be closed. And maybe it said this in the book, maybe the connection came, maybe I got it too late, but how long were Tal and Ishabal working on this spell and it possibly like connecting to a gate in hell and with all of the craziness that Everlane is going through? Is that connected? Might be a reach.
I mean, that's a good question. I don't think Everlane has anything to do with this.
It's only the gate to hell that a powerful gate being open. Yeah, and we know what gate she's talking about, but are they the same gates, or are there multiple gates?
How I read it, I was thinking the gate that she's talking about being the icky portal.
Right, because she says, they say, to the realm where all dark magic hails, the demon realm. I will not say its name. Is it Diaxia?
That's true. I guess, okay, so maybe then I read it wrong, because I was thinking this was a completely different portal, or to a different realm of things, than the portal that we see at the end of the book. But that wouldn't make sense, because that's where they go. Like, they literally go to hell itself.
Right, exactly. And so that's why I was like, and nobody speaks it, right? Kingfisher's like, it's never been like named here.
Right.
But this is what we call it through the icky portal. Like, this is what it's called. It's called Diaxia. So I just wonder if it was the same place or if it amplified something with Everlane. I don't know. I said it could be a reach, but it's something that I want to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting that Saris can feel them. She's like, I can feel them. They want to get through. They're hungry. How does she have a connection with whatever the fuck is through that gate that she's not even near?
I'm going to make a comment on this after this next section, but it goes into this comment that I'm going to.
Okay. So the next comment is, it says, Saris used a rune to undo the witch mark, right? The rune that she used that is no longer there. It says, hell was coming, hell was here. But then Saris was leaning over Tal's flaming body and she was pressing her hands to his chest. Her whole right arm was illuminated with brilliant white blue. In the space between heartbeats where my seized lungs tried and failed to take a breath, the glowing filaments of Ishabal's spell fell apart and the fires of hell went out.
All right. I'm interested to see what you're going to say back to me on this.
I have not read this note that you wrote yet, so I'm interested as well.
See, I kind of did that on purpose. I finished this last night at somebody else's house where I didn't have Wi-Fi. So none of my notes uploaded until I reopened it today when I got home.
Sneaky.
So you probably thought I didn't finish my homework, but did it.
I worked a double yesterday. I have no idea. I was in La La Land by the time I got home. But I just love that you planned ahead for secrecy.
Anticipated you checking last night and being like, this bitch hasn't written any notes for our episode tomorrow. And I was like, she can't see anything. You're funny. I'm typing. Okay, so
that's hilarious.
This is where I honestly started to get a little bit irritated with Saris. Always having the magic tools to save the day. Probably, I'm saying, has to do with the fact that 9 out of 10 fantasy books are always the same plot of a poor girl who hasn't ever done X, Y, and Z is the mate to the most handsome, strongest, dark warrior ever and becomes a queen overnight, has a secret ancestry that gives her all of this crazy power and even more power than the dark warrior mate that she has. And then I put Q. I think I've seen this film before.
But I didn't like the ending. Okay. Yes, I have thoughts. I see what you're saying.
Every single time, about halfway through this book, I was like, fucking course. Nobody else can solve this problem but this girl who doesn't know anything. Okay.
Yeah. It is a trope, right? Like, in and of itself, like, poor girl saves day trope. And you're right. It is in a lot of books. I understand what you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree all the way. I do like to point out that in our Quicksilver episodes, like way in the beginning, we did note that Ceres, yes, was poor, but was strong, could wield, could climb, could run. So she did, as far as compared to other FMCs and other fantasy books that we've read, she wasn't like this super weak, brittle, woe is me, like kind of girly, which I do want to give credit to. I think that it could have gone where she like wasn't scaling walls and stealing from guards. You know what I mean? Like I do think she did some cool shit in the beginning, you know?
Neither does like Akatar, right? Like she's the only one who goes out in her family to find food in these crazy woods she's not supposed to enter and keeps her family alive and does all these things. Like, I don't know. I don't think I felt this way until this book. And it may be because there's so many still unanswered things. But I'm like, a lot of crazy things happened in this book. And tell me how Ceres is the one who figures it out and has the key to fix it every single time. I think that's what got me.
Yeah, the only reason she has the key in this moment is because of the Hazrax. That's the only reason.
Right, but then it all is, every time it happens, I think I made notes through the rest of these chapters where I was like, there it is again. There it is again.
Yeah.
And it's her runes and things, but like how, I don't know.
Yeah. You know what that tells me? It tells me that you need a palate cleanser from fantasy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's why I'm enjoying the Neverlist so much.
It is different. Yeah, so that's like an entirely different like type of like
bit, but it's
like a small
more
part.
Romance.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very romance heavy.
It has to be. It's a Y choose with 4 men. So there's not really a lot of room for she got chapters to write.
We don't need plot.
So yeah. I do think it is very common in a lot of fantasy books for sure. I think that you need a break from fantasy. So that way when you go back into it, it's not so like repetitive.
That's fair. Because I'm also reading Lightlark at the same time.
Which is the same thing.
Surprise! It's the
FMC. Yes. Yeah, but I think that is very common in fantasy books, but that's also why a lot of people read those fantasy books, right?
It's true. Yeah.
So,
that's true.
Like, I don't want anything but that.
That's fair.
It's my comfort. It's like why I go to a restaurant and I order the same thing every time. I want to know what I'm getting. I know that the FMC is going to be weak and then turn out to be strong.
You wonder why your daughter eats only the food she eats because she knows what she's getting.
She knows what she's getting, yes. Yay. So that wraps up that chapter. Chapter 41, take it away.
Chapter 41, Processing. Ishabal continues being a sneaky witch bitch like Algut. The dream world comes back, and of course, Carrion has some interesting random magic. And Irin no longer exists. Question mark. I didn't say that as a question, but it's a question mark.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, a frustrating moment for me is that Ishabal never even tried to find Ren.
Fun fact.
During this time.
That's the first line of this chapter.
Yeah.
Ishabal
I was like,
didn't even try. She didn't even try to find Ren.
I didn't like that at all. That's all. That's my thoughts. There's more dreaming, as we know. There's no dream sex.
No.
But also...
Almost.
The Hazrax would watch, I think. When is he not watching? When he shows up in the dream, I'm like, were you watching them? Fucking creep. Get out of here.
He always watches. That's always the bargain. That's the
watching.
bargain.
Ugh. Yep. Yep, sure is. So there is obviously another rune on Ceres. We do know that it comes from the Hazrax, and it says in there that like when she used the rune, it saved Tal and it prevented a portal to hell from consuming Kalish. What kind of story would this would have been if it didn't save the
That's
realm?
what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying with my comment.
Yeah.
That all these crazy things almost happen, and then she's like, just kidding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
That's why I'm pissed.
I understand, for sure. So a little bit more carrion lore we get in this chapter as well. So he's like, the plant, when he's like showing Ceres, he's like, the plant isn't even supposed to flower. He said it releases spores once every 10 years instead, but those are flowers, right? And they keep blooming every time I speak, don't they? I am interested to see where this goes, because he not only can just make plants grow, but he can change them into something that, again, that they weren't supposed to be, which goes back to our Widow's Bane, like, theory that we have about him, like, being able to change it into something.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah. And now everyone that was originally at Arin is now at Kalish.
Right.
So.
And there's a moment.
You put a question mark.
Yes. I think I put a question mark because I said Arin no longer exists. Because every time they've talked about it, they were talking about the rot spreading. So did the rot fully take over Arin, and is it like dead and gone now? But I also thought the mass of people, things, whatever that they see on the line after her and Carrion are talking. She even says it at one point too. She's like, is that the Horde? But it's not.
So
it's the soldiers.
I had to look at my map. So with Arin, no, it's not gone. Because if you remember, Arin is not a physical location all the time. It's ever changing. It's where the warriors are. It's where they make home. So Arin is moving, right? Just to a new place.
Okay.
If I'm remembering that correctly, I think they were literally like, Arin is like, home is where the heart is kind of shit.
Yeah.
So yes, Arin is not in the same place anymore, because yes, the rot did take over Kalish, but you have Kalish, and then right below you have Arin. And that is relocated temporarily. Got you. Don't worry.
But that's it.
So yes, everyone's now in Kalish. It's wild. So that's the end of chapter 41. Chapter 42, Black Dawn. Lorith wants to say, I told you so fucking bad he might throw up. Dina is still talking in riddles. Anya has some very big feelings about what to do with the fire sprites. Everybody knows about another option to get Brimstone, except for Ceres. And the Hazrax is such a goddamn mystery that I am about to call the fucking Ghostbusters in here.
Feelings about this chapter.
Yes. So with this, we first get some Adina lore, again, like some things from her letters, because the question is, like, should Ceres have taken the antidote and turned herself into whatever she would have been before, but the question is, would she have ended up as? And so in the letter, it says, do not undo Zareth's work. You are as you are for a reason. Do not drink from the vial. Do not let your new lord drink, which is Foley. So for some reason, we don't want Foley to turn back into a regular Fae warrior. For some reason. I don't know why. The time will come, but not yet. Read on at the White Cliffs. So the time will come when it is time for her to drink and change back into something.
Pause. Because why is she reading this after it happens? This should have been shit that she was reading before she walked in to that Even Light Ball. Don't you think it's a little late to be telling her this?
No, I think the letter told her. It was like, read on after the ball. Read after Even Light Ball was the line.
But why would she not tell her before
because
the ball to be like, don't drink the bile?
I think everything was in chaos, right? And again, she saw it. Like, Adina knew. Adina knew that Ceres and Kingfisher were not going to get served any of that wine, first of all. She knew that Tal was going to do all that shit. She knew that there would be chaos, and she knew that there would then be a conversation between her and Fisher on whether or not she should drink the vial. She saw all of it.
That's fair.
So, like, I think she knew that there wasn't even time to think about drinking this random-ass vial at this fucking massacre that's happening.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, I'll answer that question for her when it's time. Because she was like, oh, I should maybe drink some, maybe I shouldn't, I don't know. It's not like there's any, like, readily available right now, right? Like, they would have to go find it. So I do think it was placed correctly.
Okay.
So she's supposed to read on at the White Cliffs, which Cersei's like, I don't know what that is. And they're like, the White Cliffs, Osha. That tells us what we have to do all by itself. We need to evacuate Kalish and rally at Ishantar. We should move quickly. I need to open the biggest fucking shadow gate I've ever made, and we need to start shifting the troops. We've got to get everyone to safety, which is fair. Huge fucking shadow gate, huge all the things, so they're going to evacuate everyone. And again, there's another option to solve this brimstone issue that everybody seems to know about, but yet nobody wants to tell Sarah. And so, like, your trope that you're mad about, my trope that I'm angry about is the miscommunication trope. I think it's the worst trope ever. I know sometimes it's necessary, but sometimes it makes me so mad. I'm like, she's literally right there. You could just tell her. It's not going to change anything. She finds out eventually. So I just thought it was so stupid. But we don't need to, they said, like, we don't need to cull the fire sprites to gather enough brimstone. And then they're like, there's another way. He's like, Fisher's like, absolutely fucking not. And even Daniel was like, she's like, you're out of your fucking mind. Everybody knows. And everybody's like, absolutely not. Because everybody knows about the gate, Ajin. Not the big gate, but the other gate. And everybody said no immediately. So I feel like that was just an opportunity to really lay everything on the table. Be honest. They could have, and they did not.
Is this the point that Danya says that she thinks that it would be worth it to sacrifice the fire sprites to get the brimstone?
Yes, she does say a lot of that. She does think that sacrificing the fire sprites would be more effective than going through the gates of hell.
Yeah. Add that to my list of... I remember reading this and being like, of course you'd fucking say that, you bitch. I cannot stand Danya.
This was one of the moments where I was like, girl, that's rough. Okay. I was like, maybe you should
she's
stop
like, let's just get rid of them for the greater good. Sometimes you have to do hard things, Kingfisher. And I was like, shut the fuck up. When have you ever ruled anything?
It raises the
question,
question,
are you to say?
Right? Like the train question, right? Do you sacrifice everybody on the train to save the person on the tracks, or do you sacrifice the one person on the tracks to save everybody on the train?
I feel like this is more than one person. That's like a whole...
Do you sacrifice the fire sprites to save the entire realm, or do you sacrifice the entire realm just to save the fire sprites? I think is what the purpose of the conversation was, right? I think in my mind, Callie was like, which do you choose? Right? Some are like heavy set, like you sacrifice the smallest amount possible for the biggest amount possible. And then some people are like, we're not doing that. There has to be another way, right? Which we live that there is another way. It's a harder direction if you really, I guess if you really think about it. Go through the gates of hell, meet an actual god, like stand trial for murdering a dragon. Like there's a lot of things that go into that, right? Again, I didn't like this version of her. I didn't like this conversation. But I think that she was thinking, like, I would rather sacrifice these fire sprites to save my realm than sacrifice Fisher again.
But it's only a finite amount, right? Like,
we don't know how much it is. How many fire sprites are there?
Well, once the fire sprites are gone, they're gone for good.
Yes.
So it is a finite amount. Is that finite amount?
It might not be enough.
Enough? Right. So then at that point...
was it even worth it?
You still need the other thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. So back to the Hazrax. How does Saris have such a fucking connection to this thing? I know that they made like a bargain, right? But they never shook on it. They never did a blood oath, nothing like that. But when Saris is walking with Hayden outside, she literally is, she's like, I said, I almost reached the warmth of the house when the same strangeness that had pulled me into Tal's burning room cinched tight in my stomach again. And it's interesting that it's her stomach and not her solar plexus. I want that to be noted because solar plexus is a huge part of this book, but it wasn't in there. It was lower. I don't know if that matters, but I want it noted again. She said, I wanted to go in with him, but something was stopping me, like a hand clenched around my intestine or my insides. An overwhelming force pulled me back out into the rain. And then more Hazrax lore. He says, you'll forgive the rain, but I am not overly fond of the cold. Rain is at least a little warmer than snow. This motherfucker can control weather. He can put out suns. He can defy gravity. What are you, Hazrax? What are you doing? Kills me. And he said, I believe the last time we spoke, we observed the ritual of small talk, did we not? So like etiquette, right? And here, so we talked previously about the Hazrax not knowing two things. So the first thing that he did not know, in my opinion, was that when he touched that relic, it would burn him. I don't think he knew that was coming. And he knows pretty much everything. This is the second thing that he did not know. It says, I know of the deal with the witch now. Now being a key word, as in he did not know before. A risky play on the Balquitter clan's part, employing such a dark and fetid magic for an opportunity to wipe out the vampires. Perhaps the play will work out in their favor, perhaps not. Time will tell. But I am forced to admit that their little gambit has rather ruined things for me. Which I feel like we can agree that it ruined things for him because that's where he was housed for a really long time. That's where he lived essentially. So it did ruin a lot of things for him. He still has the pact with Sarah, so like he's still there, but now he's like floating around, I guess. But the point is again that this was one thing that he did not see coming, and I find that very interesting.
That's where you think he's a step above
An oracle, for
but
sure.
He can't
I think we
see
know
anything.
that.
He doesn't see the future though.
He sees through multiple eyes. Including, he says, at one point he tells Ceres, I've seen through the eyes of your oracle. He is everywhere all at once. And I don't think that he is ever physically actually anywhere.
Probably not.
I think he is like not
anymore.
Like not a holograph. No, at any point in time.
You don't think if they were a real race of something way back in the day, you don't think?
No. And I have receipts.
Okay.
I have receipts. So before we go back to that, though, I have so much lore on this motherfucker. So another question that I have is, he says, you are the only the third person I have broken my silence for in over a millennium. I have to say, you are not a very stimulating conversation partner. We know Ceres is one of the conversations. We know Malcolm is number 2. Who the fuck is the third person?
I guess we'll never know.
I think it was Styx. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't have any receipts for that. I just think it's a vibe.
Or if he's not curing God of Secrets, was it him? Was it Adina?
Maybe. Could have been any of those ones, I feel like. Yeah, there is a lot. And then we learn about different runes, right? More runes, not just runes that are like earned or whatever. Some can be gifted. And this one was gifted, as I say, just in the nick of time. So that is another like slice of the magic world that we get a hold of, right? And it's interesting that they use the word blasphemy a lot as well. Like multiple times, right? Because the rune that he gave her is his name, essentially, which is not Hazrax, it's something different. And he's like, and you won't, like, it's blasphemy to record such things on paper, King Killer. The rune is my name. It does not grant you magic the same way other runes do. The ability my rune grants you is complicated. It allows you to undo or maybe break. So I feel like this was such a powerful rune and such a cool gift, and I hate that it's gone because I think it could have solved a fuck ton of their issues.
Exactly.
I know. I think it could have solved so many things.
Exactly.
Yes. And he says, you'll be grateful for it soon enough. Believe me, you should already be grateful for it. It saved your friend's life like that last night. So, like, again, he can see in the future. He knows. And with this rune, no debt has been incurred. This is seriously just like an act, like a gift for her. And he knows about all the other runes as well. He knows about the brimstone mark, all the things, right? And he says, think of it as an apology for what is to come. I have seen through the eyes of your oracle, and your future is not an easy one. There are those who would consider me partially to blame for that. This is why I think that he knows all of the things more than an oracle knows, because not only can he see through the eyes of many, he can see specifically through the eyes of the oracle.
Which would be Adina.
Because he says your oracle. And then again, your future is not an easy one. There are those who would consider me partially to blame for that. Why? What did you do? Why does she not ask him? What did you do?
Do you really think he would tell her, though?
No, but I feel like he should have asked.
That's fair.
I don't know. And then, this is an interesting thing for me as well. So another part of the gift, right? It says, when you flip the hand over, a ring dropped at my feet, the ring of office that marked it as Lord of Midnight. A large polished ruby flashed at the ring's center, winking in the fading light. Give it to the apostate with a golden smile. He will need it. Why does Foley need the ring?
I'm telling you, Foley's going to be super important this next book.
I agree. So it came from Adina that he needs to not drink the vial, specifically him and Ceres. Do not drink it to change back. And also now being given the ring by the Hazrax. What is going to happen? Why does he need the ring? What power does the ring give you? Is it the stone itself? I don't know. So I found that really interesting. And then she says, people call you the Hazrax, but that's not the ink named into my skin now, is it? And he says, why would I when you're so close to piecing it all together, King Killer? You've almost figured it out. Why do you keep calling her King Killer? And why can you not just tell her?
I wish we had a description. Do we have a description of what this rune looks like?
No. I don't think that we do. And even in like the one, like the tattoo that Callie got on her hand, it's only the 2 runes out of the 3.
Because I feel like this would be something sneaky where if she did tell us what it looked like, it could somehow connect to the theory that people think he is the god of secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or something
Right.
like that. That's why I asked, because I'm like, is it a symbol for a god that could relate to something? What does it look like? What does it mean? What the fuck is his real name?
Yeah, what is happening with this fucking Hasrex? There are so many secrets. So many.
Ugh.
That chapter threw me into a whole ass spiral, honestly.
That chapter comes with a lot of information.
It really does.
Yeah.
And so many questions and not a lot of answers, which is not what I like to do. I like to have answers.
All right. Chapter 43. Dark spots. Ishabal does a fucking half-ass job looking for Ren, and Lorith pops off on the witch bitch. And then Kingfisher goes barking back to Bellicon. Things get crazy.
Bark.
Dog.
No, man. Woof. Yes, Ishabal.
Mm.
I get why she couldn't see him when she eventually did try. Right? Like, you can't see anything by that fucking gate, which is why Taylena can't see Everlane by that fucking gate either. Like, it's all blocked. So I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed... I said watching, like I watched this happen with my own eyes. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to Lorith and Kingfisher going apeshit on her, though. She truly deserves it. And like I said in the beginning, listening to Lorith, like, lose his shit about her, I was always like, yo, chill, bro. It's fine. Not that big a deal.
Yeah, we're like, get a grip.
But now at this point, I'm like, yeah, fuck her up, Lorith. Fuck her up, actually. She deserves all of it.
She did make a big oopsie, for sure. So we do, speaking of Ishabal and things like that, we do learn more about the Balquidder clan and its traditions. Obviously, when she came back, like, it was noted that she had been promoted to prioress, right? Only the ascended elders of the Balquidder clan were permitted to wear their hair braided and pinned up the way Ishabal did now. Normally, a witch was hundreds of years old before she was ever considered for the priory. Ishabal hadn't even seen the end of her first century yet. The leaders of her clan had rewarded her prematurely for the spell work she wrought at Amontrea. It made perfect sense that they had. Ishabal had single-handedly eradicated thousands of Highbloods in one night. Something the Balquidder clan hadn't been able to achieve in all the years that they had passed since they discovered the cure to the blood curse that was placed on the Fae. And this is why I feel like I remember in book 1, it says that the Dianthus heir worked with them to find the cure. So I think they took their blood, the Dianthus blood, and made it into like an antidote.
Yeah.
So, but it says the witches were sticklers for honor and tradition. They were rule makers, not rule breakers, and they did not hold with dark magic. So then we immediately go into different Algit lore, because again, she was a witch. So it says the outlaw, or the High Council, the High Council outlawed dark magic millennia ago. That's how Algit found herself cast out of the Kinross clan, wasn't it? They authorized forceful cleansing and the use of Black Hellgate spell work to rid Sanisroth of a vampire nobles. They then made a grave sacrifice indeed. They sacrificed their ethics, their morals,
my guess is their soul.
Something. Yeah. I feel like that would be a good... Their souls. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, and it makes me, again, feel like Guru is from that realm. Because he is made of shadows, right? He's connected to Fisher in a weird way. Mm-hmm. And we know that the Kinross clan worked with the Gates of Hell a long time ago. And she was cast out of that clan specifically for that reason.
Right.
So I think she has spent time there. And then we learn more about freaking Lorith's magic, which I think is so cool. He grew up in a sheltered environment, I'm going to call it. Where he, like, it's not good to use your magic. It's not, which is so weird, but whatever. It was like a sin worse than murder to, like, use your magic. So anyways, he snaps and he does use his magic, right, at Ishabal. And the one thing that I found so interesting, and I will come back to this at a later time, is that his magic reeked of ozone. That's a very important word. His magic reeked of ozone. And that is where I will put a pin in that.
Okay. I want to know if this is the only kind of magic that he has, or what all does his magic do, right? If he's suppressed it for years, if he's not allowed to expand it, if he's not allowed to work with it,
right?
What all can he do?
That's a good question. He has white light that can literally grab things and wrap around them and singe. Like, does he have any small magics? Things like that. We might find out in book 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're also, back to witch lore. It says, there were witches among the clans who could look into a person's soul. It was said that they could get the measure of a male just by taking one look at him. Good, bad, kind, cold. It was all there, apparently. The blueprints, too, are souls, laid bare for certain witches to read as easily as the lines of a book. Why say this?
Because witches are becoming important, if you haven't noticed.
Yes.
They're all over the
But
fucking place.
Which witches can look into a person's soul? Or have we met one of them yet?
I don't know if we've met them yet.
I don't think Algit can do that.
I don't think so either.
She can go into minds, but I don't know if she can go into a soul. And he's like, I'm pretty sure Ishabal doesn't have that.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. I also wanted that to be on the record. Like that specific paragraph, because I feel like that was so slept on. Like it was just said and then we moved on.
Yep.
Also, the fire sprites are staying behind in all of this chaos because they're like, oh yeah, our brimstone will protect us from the rot. And it just reminded me of like the end of the world, like they're in a bunker. Like they are
just
fallout.
leaving in there. But at least they know that their brimstone kills the rot. Like they're not going to be affected.
Right. Yes. That's what they're like, oh no, we're good right here, bro. Like we can't leave. Anyways, it's too cold. Like we have to stay by the pyre. So it just reminded me, I don't want to set the world on fire. Like the song from Fallout. Like
they just live in a bunker
and they're
forever.
Like, they're closing the hatch.
Yep.
We'll see you in a couple years. Goodbye.
Yikes.
We're gonna go in the cryo chambers. So during this time, we know that like Danya, Lorith, Fisher all know of another option that obviously again nobody is telling Ceres, but like even in Fisher's mind, he's like planning this shit out. And he's like, well, it could be like a long shot and it was like super dangerous, but if it works, Ceres would be safe. Right? And he's like, the realm would be safe, like at least for a little while. And he says, why, bro? After all this time, are you not just being honest?
Because he has to save the day. He's a man.
So then, obviously, we know that Bellicon shows up as Kingfisher is taking Onyx into the portal. And he says, a voice calling out from the space between worlds. Hello, dog. Do we think... Woof. Do we think that it was odd that he got caught in it? He was inside the portal. He wasn't, like, about to step into it. And now they're in Polish. Like, they stayed behind. Bellicon literally found him inside his own Shadowgate and was able to pull him and Onyx.
I didn't think about that. Can Bellicon make Shadowgates? He shouldn't be able to.
I don't know if he can. Well, and it wasn't his Shadowgate. It was Kingfisher's Shadowgate. So he went into another person's. He like showed up in another person's Shadowgate.
Bellicon has so much magic that makes no fucking sense.
Yes. Agreed. It's
no sense.
Very interesting.
I don't know how she's going to explain it because a lot of things in this book make no sense.
Agreed.
Just gotta say that.
I think that Malcolm is going to come back. I think that there will be like some three-headed demon god kind of lore, and then they're all like ahead of the demon god.
Oh, I was like, where are you going with this?
Just follow me. Trust me. So
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It's very possible.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 44. Let's go.
Chapter 44. In Ishtar. Another fucking battle scene with these stupid feeders. The satyrs also aren't as nice as I was expecting them to be. And they throw away Zovina's dead body. Like, bye, bitch. Yay.
Can't wait to tell you my fucking crack theory.
It's fine.
What?
It's fine.
You like it?
I think I read it a little bit.
It's a murder mystery.
Is it, though?
Maybe.
I wrote a note back to you on it, so we'll see.
Yes, not super feeders indeed. Regular feeders. Here is where it got a little weird. So, Sarah said, it blossomed in my right hand, flowing down Aramar's blade and pouring into the feeder. It lit up from the inside, its ribs stark and black as charcoal beneath the unnatural waxen white of the monster's skin. It trembled, vibrating, letting out an ungodly scream, and then burst into flames. That told us right there that it was not a super feeder. Right? Because at first I was like, holy shit, like where did these come from? Right? So it's not a super feeder, which also makes me worry, like question, because it's not the horde. Because I was like, okay, if it's not a super feeder, maybe it's the horde. So it's It's not the Horde. It's not a super feeder, but they're still eventually find out they're from Zilvarin.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they not super feeders? Why are they just regular feeders? Why are they not infected with the rot?
That's a great question.
Because originally we thought that Madra was sending infected feeders the whole time. So why was this different? Why was this a new set that was normal? How were they just regular feeders?
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me feel like Malcolm is still alive.
Maybe.
How else would... I feel like Malcolm being with Madra, turning the feeders, and then Madra sends them to Kalish and Yvelia. What?
What if he's just like... What if she just like has his head? And he's like working on like regrowing, but he's got, it's like a tiny body.
He gets a baby body, a Deadpool body, and she's like holding him like a baby. Bite
Yeah.
this one. No, don't bite that one. Okay, we'll send him anyways, I guess. You already bit him. Don't bite these ones. So another little quirky magic thing that we learned is that if Ceres, when she's starting her shields, if they're not fully out and ready, that the feeders can go through them. So it has to be like a fully locked, intact shield. So I think that I feel like that's going to come in next, like the next book.
Yeah. That's very, like, mage magic kind of thing from D&D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got so excited and then so disappointed in this moment because they were talking about this weapon that Foley had, and I was like, that's cool. What is that? And it describes it as, like, a wooden stick with, like, a big chain and a spiky ball on the end. And I was like, I'm going to research that. So I did, of course. It is called a morning star, right? Or a flail, and it's like from the 14th century. They like started using these, and there's like different versions of them. And I was like, how cool is that? They're like, everybody has a sword except for Foley, who uses a goddamn morning star. That's so cool. He found it on the ground. I was like, that fucking sucks.
So he's just resourceful.
He is resourceful, yes. I was pretty mad. I was like, God, that's cool. No, he just found it on the ground. Binders keepers, though. Possession is 9/10 of the law, so now it's his. So, another fun note, back multiple episodes ago, we have talked about the fact that I think that Carrion is training with Danya, right? And not, I mean, I'm not going to say they're not fucking. They might be. They probably are. But I think that they're fighting as well. So here is another, like, a paragraph that I think really tells us. It says, I watched, half impressed, as he fended off a feeder, twisting the godsword I'd forged for him with a reasonable level of expertise that he hadn't possessed when he arrived in Yvelia. Noted that he now can fight, because if we remember, in the book 1, we had talked so much about the fact that Carrion should or should not know how to fight, how to wield a sword, how to do all these things, because he didn't grow up in that world, right? But now it looks like he can. And I think his sword, when it was missing, I think he left it in a training area.
Yeah.
I think if it was in Danya's room, he'd be like, it's in Danya's room. Like, we're, whatever, I did Danya. But I think it was somewhere where he was like, I don't want to say that I've been training. This is where my sword is. Otherwise, they would know that he was training, and then they would probably make fun of him. And he didn't want them to know.
Why would they make fun of him, though?
They make fun of him for everything. He literally calls him out. He's like, if you want me to be the martyr, like, I'll be the martyr. Right? They're like...
I know, but that's what they've wanted him to do for...
But I don't know. I think he's worried about it.
He's embarrassed.
He's like, I'll just do it on my own. Like, I don't want everybody to know yet.
That's fair.
So, there is now missing information from the book, right? Adina's book. So, we have read on at the White Cliffs, and then we have read on after the trade. But there's nothing in between. So, that technically is a mystery. We had talked about this before, like, that missing piece of paper, like, that the Stargazer had. The one that left the library.
Yep.
So that is true, though. That piece of paper that had the information of, like, Kingfisher's real name on it goes in between that. So, because I know we kind of went back and forth a little bit. But as reading through on this one, that is what happens. We meet satyrs, half human, half goat. I did look it up. I wanted to see them. I was like, what does that mean? A couple interesting things about them. So, they live on the chalk cliffs of Inishtar, where the islands are known as the Shield, and that is in the map, so you could, like, look at it as well. The satyrs were architects, engineers, mathematicians, okay? Here's where I get interested, because, I quote, again, they are architects. It says, their homes still stood, at least. They had been constructed out of granite and limestone to withstand the rigors of the salt-laden coastal air. Where else did we see granite in this book? There's only 2 times it is mentioned. Once here, where we talk about satyr architects using granite, and below the forge in Zilvarin where Elroy is. The walls are made of granite. Did the satyrs build that?
Maybe. They're architects.
Yeah, right? Literal architects using granite. I don't know who else could have built the fucking walls of this house, of this biggest Quicksilver pool ever fucking created. Maybe Elroy is glamored and his family line is actually satyrs. I feel like that's a super stretch. It's a super stretch, but I like it anyways. I'm not super set on it, but it's in the air now, so take it with what you will. So interesting though, right? And then also, here's my crack theory. I've been saving this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I like Maynir. And if you don't remember who Maynir is Talena's husband. Like, the word husband was mentioned in book 1, but Maynir was never mentioned until we got to book 2, right? Mm-hmm. And he's mentioned, like, in passing, or like Maynir said, or like Maynir studies blood magic for his own interests, right? Mm-hmm. And it says Maynir shook his head. We're talking about Zovina, right? She darted off into the crowd as soon as we realized we were leaving the battlefield. She couldn't be reasoned with, and I wasn't leaving my mate to go chasing after her. Something about him feels off to me. It feels like a side character, but not like a side of a side character, but that he's mentioned more than once, and he has, like, thoughts and feelings, right? And it's so weird that Zovina died so quickly for how, like, stubborn she was, right? So I know she was hysterical, like, I get that, but it just feels interesting to me. Mm-hmm. And my question is, Maynir, did you just be like, oh no, they come back, like, and I'm not leaving my mate? Or was it like, oh no, right? Like, not that Zovina deserved to survive. I'm not saying that she did. I think it's fine that she died. I think it was fine that she was a death in the book.
Yeah.
But I feel like Maynir is mentioned enough times. And also, there's a line in there earlier that's like, should your mate be weary of new faces? Maynir is new to us. Mm-hmm. Is he actually new to Kingfisher? Like, did Talena get married after Fisher left? Fisher was in the maze, right?
That's a good question.
Did then Talena got married? Is Maynir a new face to Kingfisher? And is Maynir someone we should be worried about? That's why I said, like, murder mystery. Did he let Zovina go to be murdered? Did he trip her on the way? Like, you know?
I see what you mean. Okay.
That was my thought.
Made the comment, and I said, did she want to end her life before things got even worse since Daddy Malcolm is dead? And that's all she seems to care about anyways.
Maybe. I don't think she cared about Malcolm that much. I think she cared about power and control and being favorite. Like, being favorited by Malcolm helped her in that world and in that palace, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think she cared about Malcolm as much as she, like, says that she did.
That's fair.
In my opinion. So, back to the feeders, though. So, we know there's a couple pools around here, right? So, we know that Lycia has a pool. We know that Galaria has a pool. We know that Ishantar does not have a pool. And we know also that Madra has been controlling magic for centuries in Sylvarin. So, again, they're saying, like, who's to say she hasn't accumulated enough power to, like, travel, right? And then, obviously, we come across the revelation that, like, she's using the Circle of Sylvarin as a power thing, which I see now why Callie did not give us a map of Sylvarin. I think that we can do that now. I think now is a good time to have a map of Sylvarin.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's really cool.
You explained it already, so just give us a drawing.
Yeah, just give me the map, right? So, obviously, it's, again, the shape of the wheel, so that's, like, the strongest magic that goes in a circle, which, again, is why, like, Ceres' shield is in a circle as well, so that's super powerful. So she can basically open up a fucking portal wherever she wants, whenever she likes. She's been collecting magic forever. And I know we're like, holy shit, it all makes sense, it's all perfect, it's all right. We still never see Madra. We never hear from Madra. We never talk to Madra. We never actually see feeders coming through a portal from Madra. And then also, this new set of feeders that showed up out of nowhere include humans from Sylvarin, yes, but it also includes her guard. Madra took pride in her guard. She took pride in how they looked, how they were, who they were. And she even saved fucking Heron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why, if she cared so much about her guard, why did she kill them, make them feeders, and send them in?
We talk about this more in the next episode, actually, because I remember writing a note about it. Because we talk about her little packs, right, that they all wear with her hair in it and everything.
Yeah.
It sounds like a cult. Like, do you think the guards are volunteering to do this, like, greater purpose? Like, just like in a cult, right? Like, you can convince those people. There's multiple cults where people, like, did a mass suicide together. Because this is for the greater good. This is for us to ascend to our next form. So if they fully believe in Madra and all this shit with her, they're like, wow, I volunteer to ascend to this new form to make this new world.
It can see that. My only rebuttal is that in my perspective, from Madra's perspective, I guess, as a businesswoman, right?
You think Madra's a businesswoman?
Sometimes, yes.
I'm gonna make a sticker. It says Madra, the businesswoman. She's gonna be in her 3-piece suit with her briefcase.
Okay, hear me out, though. Hear me out, okay? As a businesswoman, if I have a guard and I need to create feeders to send to another realm to kill everybody, right? If I have 10 guards, those guards can go and take humans and we make them all feeders. If I'm sacrificing my guards, I'm wasting resources, right? Because one guard can gather how many humans versus just sacrifices one guard for greater good.
That's fair.
Was it a guard that betrayed me? Maybe he thought something, I don't know, maybe he did something bad and I was like, you're a feeder now, like, bye-bye. How many of the guards were feeders in this moment? But again, as a businesswoman, from a profit standpoint, one guard equals a certain amount of humans to sacrifice through the other realms. But if I sacrifice one guard, that's less humans that I have. It's a numbers thing. Do you see what I mean?
You really thought that out, didn't you? You really thought through
I don't think I'm wrong, though.
You really sat with your morning coffee and was like, Madra, you're running your business the wrong way.
I think that it's all too simple. I think it's too simple of an answer that it's Madra. They're like, oh, it's Madra. It's for sure her. We literally have no proof that it's her.
I think because they've said that it's her so many times in this book, I don't believe that it is her.
Correct. I think it's something else. She may be
Callie Hart is a liar.
I know. She just gaslights us. She's like, oh yeah, it's Madra for sure. No. And then the moment she sacrificed her own guards, I was like, I don't think so. Red flag. Red flag. Flag on the play. Also, book 3, they're all going to have to work together to ward an entire realm. That's pretty cool.
I said this. I said they're going to need fucking everybody to do whatever they got to do.
Literally, they're all going to link hands in a big circle.
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
I think we went a little more powerful.
Side note.
Going up, up, up.
No.
For a moment. They're going to seal the honeymoon together. No. That's way more powerful.
I don't know. Cults be used in religion. That's pretty powerful.
I think that the religion of K-pop demon hunters is really powerful. That movie is on so many #1 charts for music.
That's fair.
Hanmoon sealed. Done. So, that is the end of that chapter, except there's one thing that I want to point out. If you guys would like to grab your Great Bible, either the new edition of Quicksilver or your Brimstone, because the maps are the same. I did stare at them both for a really long time and confirm that they are the same, so you can use them both. So, if you're looking... Oh, you have the colored one.
You're so pretty.
I have the black and white one.
Well, mine's better than yours.
Shut up, Cassidy. So, it says, the shallow mountains stand between here and the Galarians. The shield and ocean stand between here and the water fae. So, in previous episodes, I have noted that there are fucking mermaids in this book. Look at this mermaid riding a dragon. I redact my statement, and I would like to correct my statement in my amendment that these are water fae. They are not mermaids.
They have pointed ears.
Girl, those are so small. I don't know how the fuck do you see that?
Put your glasses on. Don't you have glasses for a reason?
I lost them. I can't find them anywhere. I can't find my glasses. So yes, if you are looking, the ones on the bottom right of the map do, I guess, kind of have pointy ears. I see what you're saying in that. The ones up at the top left, you can't see their ears.
They're
their
blocking
hair is
it.
in the way. Yeah, they're blocking it. But yes, water fae. And those dragons have mermaid-ish looking tails. So I am really interested to see what comes about this. What a good time. I love when we get to look at the map.
If only you had a colored map.
I'm gonna go.
You chose the wrong special edition.
I did not choose the wrong special edition. I chose the one that Callie Hart signed.
To you. That was given to you.
I paid my ticket.
It's true.
Went to New York and got it myself. I do want the Target version, though.
Just for the colored map.
I feel like I do need a colored map.
And the Carrion bonus chapter.
Yeah, I did read that.
Yeah.
I read your book.
Sweet Carrion.
And that broke me. So if you haven't read the Carrion bonus chapters, you should. So yes. Amazing. Woo! One more episode left. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. Lots of theories, so much lore, so many questions, hopefully to be answered in book 3. If you like this episode, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and or rate this episode so that way others can listen as well. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.